I'm Arlene Herson, and I'm glad you can join me tonight because my guest is a man who is bringing a train to New Jersey and took a taxi into the hearts of America. The Train is his new film, Throw Mama from the Train, and Taxi is the television series that propelled him to stardom. You've seen him in the movies in Ruthless People, Romancing the Stone, Jewel of the Nile, and Wise Guys as America's most lovable louse. In real life, take the second word away and just call him lovable. As a matter of fact, he's been called the most likable person in Hollywood. He is Danny Devito, and he'll be with us right after these messages, so please stay right there.
From the McGruff Files, the Philadelphia story. In certain parts of Philadelphia, things were rough. Areas were run down, crime and drugs were out of hand, and honest folks felt like prisoners in their own homes. People decided to work with police to turn things around. Weekly meetings led to cleanup projects and folks working together. Soon the neighbors had their neighborhood back. That's what happens when people and police work together. Write this down and I'll show you how you can help take a bite out of crime.
People in the National Guard and Reserve make up over 40% of our nation's combat-ready forces. It's a job that requires them to face some very big challenges. So please, don't make their biggest challenge asking you for time off to do their training.
Mr. Aldridge, you, got a minute?
Be a hero. Give your employees the freedom to protect ours.
There are people out there who need help, but don't have anyone with the right skills and knowledge to turn to for help with their taxes. You or your organization can be there for someone who needs help. Volunteer your time, and the IRS will volunteer the training to help make someone's taxes less taxing.
I'm Arlene Herson, and we're back with my very special guest, Danny Devito, right here in his hometown of Asbury Park. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Arlene. It's great to be here. Thrilled to be here.
Okay, busy time for you.
Yeah.
Because you've been out promoting your new film, Throw Mama from the Train. Now, that's very exciting, but this has been an incredible year for you. Not just this new film. You've had one hit film after another in the past couple of years, A New Sun.
That's right.
Now a movie that you're not only the star of, you're also the director of.
Yeah.
Do you sometimes pinch yourself and say, hey, is this really happening to me?
Yeah, I do. I do. Well, you know, the thing about the movies and everything going so well, that's what I always wanted, and to direct and star in a picture like Throw Mama from the Train is very thrilling, and it's a dream come true. And also, on the other end, my family, like you say, I have 3 children now. Just a month ago, my first boy was born, Jacob, and his older sisters, Lucy and Gracie, are 4.5 and 2.5. So we've got a house full of kids, and Rhea, of course, is doing Cheers. That's going very well. It's kind of a traveling circus sometimes, but we manage to have a good time and keep smiling a lot. Kids really do it for you.
That's it. Well, you know,
they really do it for you. They make you smile.
But the other thing is, when you mention your wife, Rhea Perlman, who is one of the stars of Cheers, and it was described, as a matter of fact, her character was almost described as what would be a Louis De Palma as a female person. Louis De Palma, for those who don't know, and I'm sure everybody does, was the character that you played in Taxi. The two of you blend so well, but you lived together, I understand, for something like 11 years before you got married?
Yeah. We met in 1970. I was doing off-Broadway work, and Rhea came to see a friend of hers who was playing opposite me in this play called A Shrinking Bride. It was at the Mercury Theater in Manhattan, and we hit it off very well. Rhea and I went to have coffee that night at the Cookery. Listened to Alberta Hunter, and it was kind of love at first sight in a way. It took me a couple weeks to call her, though. So I don't know, I was chicken, I don't know why. And finally I did, and we hit it off real well. And we started living together right away. in Manhattan. I don't know whether it was because she was living in Brooklyn at the time. I had an apartment in Manhattan. So for a long time I thought she just moved in because she wanted to get out of Brooklyn.
Well, I don't know. She stayed.
Yeah, she stuck around.
She's been doing pretty good. She could have gotten out of Brooklyn on her own.
Yeah.
But you lived together for 11 years. The children didn't come until after you were married.
Yeah.
Somebody said you got married during a lunch break during Taxi because you were both so busy. Is that true?
Yeah. Well, we had a certain day that we wanted to be married on the 28th of January, and so just so happened that that day was, I was working, and it was a great day in Los Angeles because it rained. You know, in Los Angeles, it's always, you never say what kind of weather is it out. You know, it's always sunny, and you never get the great season changes and things. So we were blessed with a rainy day for our wedding, and I ran home between the lunch break, and we were married in the yard.
In the rain?
Yeah, in the rain. It was great. And then a year later, our first baby was born, Lucy.
Okay, now 3 children. Finally, 2 girls and a boy. Family man. But you're very much a family man. I mean, right here, Asbury Park, which is where we are, you were brought up. You were having the world premiere of your film here in Asbury Park because you wanted it.
Yeah.
Why did you want it?
Arlene, it's kind of a thing that I left in the 60s. I love Asbury very much. It was great to me. It was a great town. I loved growing up in a shore town where in the summer it was filled with all the women from New York and Newark, and all the girls came down to the shore, and it was alive, and it was always so much to do. And then in the winter you could always get a parking space, you know. And it was beautiful eastern town, and I love it dearly. My mom was born here, and when I went to New York to become an actor, I always kept in touch. I'd come back on the weekends and talk to my friends, see the guys I went to school with, because your family and your friends are like the most important thing that you have, that we all have, I think. And the place that you grew up, which is Asbury Park, is always very dear to me. And it's a dream come true to be successful in what you be able to direct and star in a film. It's what I always wanted to do. Find a film that you're proud of, like Throw Mama from the Train, and be able to find a place like the Paramount Theater here on the boardwalk to show the film. Because Asbury Park went through a lot of changes. Excuse me.
Well, when you mention here,
Asbury Park went through a lot of changes. When I grew up here, we had the Mayfair and the St. James, were beautiful theaters, palaces, movie palaces, and the Paramount was a place that I went also, and we were fortunate that it was overlooked in the demolition. And now that the people here are thinking the way they should be thinking and restoring Asbury Park to what it was, its former splendor. I mean, I'm lucky that we have the Paramount to show the theater.
But you're doing that. Actually, this is a closed theater. For those people who don't live in New Jersey, don't live in the area, who are seeing this show, it's a closed theater. It's on the boardwalk with the ocean in the background. It's beautiful. You are opening it, and you are bringing stars for the opening to Asbury Park who may never have even had set foot in New Jersey before. And they're all coming for you, which is really incredible. Your mom is going to be here. You know, when you were asked about who the stars are, then all the newspapers have been doing big stories about you, and you said, who's coming? And you said, the stars are my friends, my family. But Throw Mama from the Train, in that movie, you want to kill your mother. You really want to throw her from a train. Now, your mom is coming. She's in her 80s. Does she feel maybe this film might be a little disrespectful?
No. My mom understands that, showbiz.
Yeah.
She knows. She's been around, Julia. She understands that Danny Boy doesn't want to kick her off a train. You know what I'm saying?
Because I understand that if so, that Mom is not exactly the shy, retiring type either. She'd let you know just where you stand.
She'd give me a belt if she thought I was out of line. But she's going to really enjoy it. She's going to get a kick out of it. It's a great film. It's a lot of fun. We have one of the most extreme, diabolical mamas ever played in a movie in our film. Anne Ramsey does that job superbly, and it's going to go down in history, her performance in this film. She's going to make all those nasty mamas proud out there.
Okay, as a matter of fact, a little bit later on, we're going to show a clip.
Oh, great.
And Ann Ramsey is in that clip. So but your real mom, just one, in some of the stuff that I was reading, she said that you were such a good boy. I mean, we see you as all doing all these things.
She's an Italian mother, you know what I mean? I mean, their sons are like, you know, they could do anything and they'd be good boys, misunderstood, but good boys.
Okay, but she said you used to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning and go through the snow to go to church. And sometimes she said she thought maybe you'd be a priest. Did you ever think that? Or
well,
was that in her mind?
I don't think there's an Italian family that has a boy in it that didn't think at one time he was going to be a priest. I mean, that's the great thing. Do you know what I'm saying? I
know what you're saying. You would have given the world something wonderful for that, but now you've given the world something wonderful in
I don't know
being
if
an
I
actor.
was how serious I was at the time, but yeah, we were talking about it at one time. And as far as going to church in the morning, I was an altar boy, Our Lady of Mount Carmel, and I'd go down there and serve Mass with Father Marcellino, and he was a great guy. He built the parish, and it was great. I'd go down. You see your friends before school because we were all altar boys. I'd go down there with Sal Bardesco, and we would prepare all the little, do the wine, and who got the bells and who got the wine who got the bells and who got the book. That was the big thing in those days.
So you really were a good boy, and you really did do all that. But yeah, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to talk more about Danny DeVito, because most of the people see you as this mischievous character doing all kinds of nasty things. So, but we're getting to know the real Danny DeVito. We're going to talk more after these messages. We're speaking with Danny DeVito. We'll be right back, so please don't go away.
Some people think Social Security is just for retirement.
But if a serious illness or injury puts you out of work, Social Security can pay disability.
Even if you're years from retirement.
And it would pay your family survivor's benefits if somehow your life gets cut short.
So what benefits can you expect? Find out by calling 1-800-2345-SSA.
For your own personal earnings and benefit estimate statement. Social Security, it's not just for retirement.
It's for life.
Every year, thousands of babies die from choking, suffocating, or other breathing emergencies. Just imagine how many of them could be saved if only they came with instructions. Please learn American Red Cross Infant and Child CPR. American Red Cross. We help you help others.
There was a time when people helped their neighbors, and together they built a stronger community. This spirit lives on today in NeighborWorks, a unique partnership of local residents, business, and government leaders. NeighborWorks volunteers have rebuilt over 100,000 homes, restoring pride to millions of neighbors. So help a neighbor and a nation. Join NeighborWorks, reversing decline, rebuilding pride.
I'm Arlene Herson, and we're back with Danny DeVito here in his hometown, as I mentioned, in Asbury Park. Where, as you mentioned before the break, you didn't become a priest. You, obviously, not news to anybody, became an actor. But why? You know, it's such a difficult business, and it's, you know, pie in the sky. So many people want to be actors. What was it that made you really go out and do it?
Well, it's a combination of, you know, really wanting it very, very, very much, and sticking to it. And I guess if you want it very, very much, you stay with it no matter what. And there's a positive attitude that needs to be there. I mean, I had support from my family. My mother and father always said that they encouraged me my entire life, whatever I chose to do, whether it was work as a gardener or get a job down at the rides in Asbury or whatever I wanted to do. I mean, they always felt that if I was choosing to do it, they thought I could, you know, they encouraged me and said I could do it. And when I went to become an actor, I got the same encouragement. I never met any resistance, like there was no negativity involved. Like, that's the attitude that everybody takes, even while you're doing it. It's such a difficult business. There's so many people who want to be an actor and actress, and it's, why try it? You know, it's a defeatist attitude, and there's no room for it. And if you want it really bad, and what you do along the way is the people who tell you that you can't do it are the ones that you don't listen to, and the people who encourage you and find whatever talent you have and try to embellish it or build on it, those are the people that you gravitate toward. And there's you mustn't ever doubt what you're sure of, like Bruce Springsteen says in his latest album.
Okay, it's funny. Yeah, you mentioned Bruce Springsteen because he also is from this area and a friend. But I asked that question, but I believe you. I believe you can do anything you want to do. After all, here I am interviewing Danny Devito.
Yeah, you stick to it, Arlene, and you get Danny on the show. You just keep thinking Bruce, right. You'll get Bruce on the show.
Well, but I got Danny, and I'm really happy about that. But I hear, Danny, just when you mentioned all the things that your parents encourage you to do, you were at one point Mr. Danny down here.
That's right.
Hairdresser. Mm-hmm. Terrific. All the ladies loved you.
They did, yes. Well, yes, they said my beehive could withstand a 40-knot wind.
Okay. No, that's
with about a pound and a half of lacquer on your head. Well, it was my sister's doing, Angela. She had a beauty parlor on Main Street, and it was after high school. It was like a choice between maybe going back, I don't know, doing something on the rides, or down at the boardwalk, or maybe working for Giacomo De Sarno cutting grass. And I'd done that. I wasn't a good mechanic. I didn't like pumping gas. I wasn't like. So she said, "Why don't you go to Wilford Academy?" So I said, "That sounds like a good idea." I was always around it anyway. She was always doing somebody's hair, and so I went and I enjoyed it. I mean, it was a lot of fun. And I went to work for her on Main Street, and we did I did all the women during the day that did their hair, and then at night we would draw the curtains, and the firemen from Asbury used to come across the street, and I used to dye their hair. Do you know what I'm saying? It was in the, macho guys who want to play softball, you got to have the dark hair. Didn't want to get gray. I don't know.
So, okay, different side of Danny DeVito.
But okay. I'm not going to mention any names, guys, so don't worry about it. Your secret's safe with me.
Okay. All right. Anyway, you did obviously go to Hollywood.
I went to Hollywood, that's right.
Okay, but not as a hairdresser.
No.
But it wasn't terrific when you went there. No jobs. Could have been discouraged. What was it that really turned it around? What was the first thing that said, okay,
you see, after school, after I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and then I worked in New York, actually out of New York in a play in the summer that toured Connecticut, and I went to the Eugene O'Neill Foundation in Waterford with the play, and then I read in the New Yorker in installments In Cold Blood that was written by Truman Capote, and I thought, well, this is a great part for me to play this murderer, Perry Edward Smith, and I think I'm going to go to California and try to meet Richard Brooks, the director. And I had some money that I made in the summer, and I bought a round-trip ticket, and I went to Los Angeles. I got out of the airport. I didn't know. I've never been there. I didn't have a friend out there. At the time, it was in the 60s. I had long hair, and I used to wear this black raincoat. I had these white tennis shoes that I had for years and had little holes in them and stuff. And I got on a bus. I said, take me downtown, because I figured that's where they made movies. And, of course, downtown L.A. is like, it felt like they dropped the bomb between the airport and downtown. It was desolate. There was nobody there. It's like empty. And I saw a security guard. I said, where's Annette Funicello? I said, nobody around here. What's going on? Where do they make movies? And he pointed to Hollywood. So I went there, and for a year and a half, I couldn't get arrested. There was no way to get in to see anybody, and it was very difficult. And then I was a janitor in a building out there on Crescent Heights and Boulevard, and I worked there at night because in the day I could make rounds. And then I figured I wasn't becoming an actor, so it was just I was trying to find work, and I kind of losing sight of it. And I went back to Manhattan and studied and started doing off-Broadway work. But it was a struggle. It's like anything else. It's a struggle. And again, what keeps you going is the desire to do it and a positive attitude.
Okay, you had it. You
and
came
luck.
back.
And luck. You have to be lucky. That's
Okay,
right.
absolutely. Luck was also,
Absolutely.
when you came back, I hear that one of your teachers in New York was looking for you because he had a role he wanted you to play.
Yeah.
And that was led to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which really, I think,
Well,
was the
you know,
start of-
only one thing leads to the other, always in any business, pretty much. The off-Broadway work led to the off-Broadway part of Martini and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And then 5 years after that, Michael Douglas was doing the picture, and I got the part in that. And then that brought me out to Hollywood in a different kind of light. And then 3 years later, Taxi came along, which was I think the part of Louis De Palma that sort of brought me into the public eye, as it were.
Absolutely. Taxi was wonderful. Do you miss Taxi?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it
miss
was
the people,
you were there
mainly.
in people's living rooms every single week. You
Yeah.
were a wonderful character.
The cast is what I miss. The cast mainly. The work is good, and it's lots of fun. It's creative, and it's exciting, and it's putting the show up every week. And I worked with great writers and the director and this, that, and the other thing. The people that work on the cast, the family that we had, I don't see a lot now. But Judd and Mary Lou and Tony and
New family, though, and actually, if we're going to take a break, because otherwise we're going to run out of time, because we have to talk about the new family and Throw Mama from the Train, and I want to show some clips from that, and I want to talk about your involvement in that right after we come back. We're speaking with Danny Devito. We'll be right back. Please don't go away.
Just a fraction of what we spend dining out could help pick up the tab for a good cause. A small part of what we spend on sports could help keep our community in shape. Or some of our time on the phone could help answer society's problems. Won't you get involved? By giving 5% of your income and volunteering 5 hours per week, you can really help your community. This year, make it your goal to give 5. What you get back is immeasurable.
The animals in the forest. If they could talk, what would they say? They might say, be careful with fire in the forest. Just like Smokey says, only you can prevent forest fires.
It's time for You Lost Your Life with your hosts, Christ Dummies, Vince and Larry.
Hi! Hello, and welcome to the show that proves if you don't buckle your safety belt, the loser is you.
That's right, Vince, and by not buckling up, you could end up in places you never dreamed.
Like correction!
Or the emergency room!
Plus, Larry, if you're not buckled up, you could maybe take a ride in a beauty like this. Stay tuned!
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
I'm Arlene Herson. We're back with Danny Devito. Okay, Throw Mama from the Train.
Yes.
You not only star in it, you direct it.
That's right. Well, you see, Arlene, I was looking for something to do for a long time, to direct and star in, and when Throw Mama came along, the part was a lot different than the other roles that I play. This is Owen Lift. He's more like the character in Cuckoo's Nest. It gives me a chance to play other, touch on other areas. Also, the theme of the movie is they're very dark themes. They're like deep. There's Billy Crystal plays Larry Donner, who is consumed by the hatred of his wife. He hates her for stealing his manuscript, and he's got writer's block, and he's inept now. And Owen Lift is a guy who's under the thumb of this maniacal, domineering woman, this mama who's terrified for her own reasons of being left alone, and she's arrested the development of her son. He's kind of a man-child. And so what I was looking for is not just a candy-colored comedy that we could turn on the TV and just take a look at any night of the week. I was trying to find something that had these bizarre elements that might be interesting cinematically, stylistically, and I found it in this picture.
Okay, we're going to show a clip. Because, when you talk about it, we have Mama in this clip.
Yeah, you got
Billy
Mama,
Crystal.
you got Billy, and you got Owen. Danny, and it's when I bring Billy home for the first time to meet
Mama. Okay, we're going to show the clip now, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Okay.
Here we go. Eggs a la Owen.
Owen, you've got to get it through your thick head. I may be a lot of things, but I am not a killer.
don't have to blow her brains out or anything.
Thank you. That takes the pressure right off.
She's old. She's got a bad ticker. All you gotta do is jerk around a lot when you talk to her. Nice to meet you, Mrs. Lift. Stop it. Well, just meet her. Maybe she'd be somebody you'd like to kill.
Owen, what the hell's going on out there?
Nothing, Mama. You woke her up.
Who are you talking to? Who's in there with you?
Nobody, Mama.
Who's this?
This is Cousin Patty. He's gonna be staying with us for a while. Isn't that nice?
You don't have a cousin Patty.
You lied to me.
Oh, Mom is really scary.
She is. Mama
Okay.
is. She's going down in film history as the most diabolical mama you've ever seen in your life. Something for everybody to relate to out there.
Okay, but Danny DeVito, I mean, you play, I mean, a lovable louse. I had mentioned earlier, actually, and in many of your roles, you're really kind of a nasty character.
Yeah.
Even in Jewel of the Nile,
Yeah,
Romance in the Stone, the only time you weren't nasty, actually, was when you were romantic, and that was with Shirley MacLaine in terms of
Well,
enjoyment.
and also, like I said, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, there wasn't it wasn't a nasty quality to that, not a nasty bone in Martini's body. And in Throw Mama from the Train, also, you'll see that when you see the picture, you see a different quality to the character. He's not a nasty guy, he's just confused.
Danny DeVito, in real life, what's he like?
Well, I'm a good guy. I'm out here working for Orion, plugging my movie, Throw Mama from the Train. Opens on December 11th at a theater near you. And see what kind of guy would do that. He's a good guy. He's a nice guy.
Oh, well, you know something? Actually, I have to say, Brian De Palma, who directed you in Wise Guys, quote from him said you are the nicest guy.
Well, there you
that
go.
has ever
There's
worked.
Brian. Now, he's a guy who's misunderstood. People expect him to walk in with an axe. He's a teddy bear. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to always be like your screen persona, I don't think,
Of course not. I mean, after all, that's not. But you're doing some wonderful things
Thank
for
you.
the people here in Asbury Park. World premiere of your film.
Yep.
We're going to be there tomorrow night, meeting all the stars. And I thank you for being here
Okay.
with us.
Thanks,
Okay.
Arlene.
Thanks.
Okay.
I hope that you have enjoyed meeting Danny DeVito. I know that I certainly have, and I also hope you're going to go see his movie, Throw Mama from the Train. And I also hope you'll join us again next week. Meantime, good night. Hope to see you then.